bumper show for you. Kelvin Mackenzie's in the house. He's going to be talking to us in a little while. Richard Tice is here for the first time.
Very good morning. Fantastic
very good morning
to be with
you
in your brilliant studio.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome to our new home, the home of common sense. I mean, you can't quite believe what's going on, can you?
Well,
I mean,
it's
you
quite
must have thought
extraordinary.
you died and gone to heaven.
Well, it is just extraordinary. And yesterday morning, when the news came through that Anna Sarwar was going to do a press conference to call for the PM to resign, we thought he'll be lucky to see the day out.
Right.
And yes, he has seen the day out. But my goodness me, the cabinet took a long time to come out and support him. There was a very pregnant silence through a few hours yesterday. And there was a rumour that the Welsh leader, Ellen Ed Morgan, was also going to call for the PM's resignation.
Yeah.
And then apparently bottled it.
Right.
And who else bottled it? Did Wes Streeting bottle it?
Well, I mean, we've got a series of clips that we'll play throughout the course of the morning. I mean, certainly it seems as though Starmer also bottled it, because on Sunday night we were told he's going to come out and address the troops, i.e. the country, at some point, you know, a lectern moment outside of Downing Street. And everybody thought, is he going to come out and actually resign? Is he going to come out and say, I'm standing firm? And then he just said, I'm not going to do anything. And he waited till, what, 6 o'clock before he went to see the MPs?
Yeah, and they've rallied round him. I guess they've looked over the edge and realised that actually the level of unpopularity of both the Prime Minister and the performance of this government is so bad. I think the polls show that he's the least popular or the most unpopular Prime Minister since records began 3 or 4 decades ago.
It is extraordinary.
It is extraordinary.
But also,
actually,
how quickly has it fallen apart? Because it was only, 48 hours ago that we were kind of talking about it, but now it's happening.
But credit to you. I mean, I remember you calling it out over a year ago, saying you didn't see how Starmer would last the whole term.
Right.
And
I didn't know why. I wasn't
didn't know why.
sure.
And I remember you saying you didn't know why. What does it? But there's always something that sort of comes over the hill, and it was a combination of economic incompetence, series of self-imposed daft political decisions, starting with the winter fuel fiasco. Then you moved on to the first budget fiasco.
Which they reversed.
Which they reversed. And so they reversed most of that. But the damage has been done in terms of competence and popularity. Then you move on to the madness of the Chagos fiasco that's still going on.
Yeah. Which they've also seemingly reversed on for the moment.
Well,
anyway.
but then, so who knows? That changes day by day.
Right.
Then you've got all the national insurance increases. And the list goes on and on. And then supposedly the welfare changes, and then they reversed on that. And it just utterly shambolic. And it's always something that you don't see that then tips it over the edge. And this
it's
crisis
Mandelson at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yes, and isn't it interesting? You know, what do you call him? The Lord of Darkness.
Yeah.
How a man who's been at the heart of Labour operations for decades, and I think when the messages come out, it will show that Mandelson has been at the heart of this operation, sort of subtly pulling all sorts of levers and manoeuvres and advising who should be in which ministerial role.
Right.
And I think that will be another real problem for the Prime Minister. And that's probably why Wes Streeting has started by getting some of his messages out over the last 24 hours. And I wonder whether we'll see other cabinet ministers or people want to put their own messages out to try and sort of
Well, we've got a
deflect
little clip of Wes Streeting talking to Beth Rigby, because she discovered some of his messages yesterday, all of which appear to end with a kiss to Peter Mandelson. Isn't that nice? That's what we like. Very friendly. Have a look at this.
I've got these messages here, and I've only just, to be honest, Wes, I'm literally just reading them shortly before you came in. But there is a lot of genuine intimacy here and friendship. You know, Wes to you to Peter, great pitch, lovely photos in the time. Peter sends you a kiss. There's well done on the BBC. This is Peter Mandelson to you in June 25. I'm literally reading them as I go along. Well done on the BBC. Very good kiss. Are you planning to visit the US this year? You hope so, exclamation mark, kiss. Are you embarrassed by that? I mean, that's quite an intimate friendship, isn't it?
No, look, an intimate friendship. With Peter Mandelson, look, I'm
there's dozens and dozens.
I'm very happy to...
But there are dozens and dozens of messages here.
And people will be able to read them. What I felt I saw over the weekend was this implication that somehow I had something to hide and that there were going to be very embarrassing or damaging messages coming out. Now, do I resile from friendship with Peter Mandelson? Yes, absolutely, given his behaviour and what he's done. Do I resile from those messages? No.
How embarrassed are you by these WhatsApps between you and him?
I'm embarrassed to have known Peter Mandelson. I hope that, more than anything else actually in those messages, I hope I haven't caused either embarrassment or discomfort for my cabinet colleagues.
Now, he looks very uncomfortable there, doesn't he, Wes Streeting? And
yes,
according to the front page of the Telegraph, he says, basically, that he's been accused of trying to plot a Number 10 coup. He says that Number 10 has been briefing against him. I mean, they're all fighting like rats in a sack, aren't they?
Well, and of course, it was McSweeney that actually did brief against him a few months back.
Yeah.
And again, there was a huge row that ultimately I think McSweeney sort of lost out to Streeting. But it's remarkable. And I mean, hour by hour, I'm quite struck by one of the headlines in this morning's Daily Mail that says that the Cabinet has given him a stay of execution. All it would take is one puff of wind to blow him over now,
Right.
which is not exactly a great display of
let me ask you
confidence.
this. What happens in the next 24 hours, basically? Because, I mean, nobody really knows the answer to that, do they?
No one knows the answer, including, I think, themselves.
Right.
And it's just whether or not there is a key figure or whether something happens. And someone, it may be that there's a senior backbencher. And I think there's a very strong group of female Labour backbenchers who are raging furious about all of this.
Yeah.
And the sort of the power of some of these or sort of the old, the new Labour men, Mandelson,
the sort of boys' club, right?
The boys' club, and I think that's a very strong feeling. And who knows how that plays out? And then there's another issue which we shouldn't underestimate, which is how the markets are reacting to all of this. And it was very jittery yesterday.
I checked my pension this morning. It seems to have gone down quite considerably, which is always my only sort of interest in the financial markets.
So that's obviously a very significant factor within the markets overall. But the other significant factor is obviously
for 5 years.
The other significant factor is the bond markets and the price of the government being able to borrow, and that spiked on the cost of 30-year government debt. That spiked significantly to about 5.4%, the highest for 3 or 4 months.
Right.
Likewise, the cost of 10-year gilts also spiked, and that's a sign of a city anxious that the government is in chaos, and
also
they never like uncertainty.
Not just the bond market, but the debt crisis that we now face. I was talking to Liam Halligan last week from the Telegraph, and he said to me, even if we had to go cap in hand to the IMF like we did in the 1970s, they literally haven't got enough money to bail us out. We're in that much debt that they couldn't actually help us.
Correct. The total debt is a whisker under £3 trillion. Impossible to envisage what that is.
Yeah.
But it's about equivalent to the size of the annual size of the UK economy is really, or the turnover of the UK economy. And at those sort of levels, basically the bond markets are in charge as opposed to the government.
Yeah. And that is the problem. I mean, the other aspect of all of this, of course, is that, in the meantime, who's running the bleeding country? Because, if Starmer's sort of, hiding under the stairs in Downing Street, which it would appear to be what he's going to be doing for the next 48 hours, there's an awful lot of stuff that needs sorting out, isn't there?
Albeit you could take a slightly different view, which is those of us that actually believe in a small state and a less interventionist state and sort of smart regulation. You could say, well, actually, them doing nothing and getting out of the way might actually be quite helpful.
Well, it might,
because everything they do seems to cause chaos, disruption, job losses, and ever more borrowing and ever lower growth. So,
well, I mean, page 2 of The Sun this morning says more small boat migrants have arrived under Keir Starmer than any other Prime Minister since the crisis began. So, I mean, all of this, let's stop the boats, smash the gangs.
Smash the gangs. All they've done is encourage the gangs.
Smash their own gang is what they've smashed.
Well, absolutely. I think the gang is about to smash their leader.
Yes.
It's just a case of, I do think it's important to focus on. There is a little bit of good news out there, and that is that another major pub boss, Sir Tim Martin, of Wetherspoons, has recognised that that Reform is the party of the pub after the Fuller's boss last week, and that we're the only party that actually can bring down the cost of running pubs, bring down the cost of beer with the policy that we announced last week, carefully costed, and that left the Conservatives and everybody else spluttering, not understanding how to work a calculator. But I think it's important to focus on the good news. And
and you guys had a big rally yesterday up in Birmingham.
We had a huge rally in Birmingham, 2,000 people.
It's quite a contrast, and I mean, I'm not just being, sedulous here, because that's not my way, but basically, you've got the government in crisis, you've got Keir Starmer hiding from the public, hiding from the media, and meanwhile, up in Birmingham, you guys are firing off these kind of guns with T-shirts in them, and having sort of thousands of people
and there's
cheering.
huge optimism, and so we had a sort of a range of interviews with the Reform MPs. Then Nigel gave a very important speech, just reinforcing that not only are we getting ready, but we're accelerating plans to be ready, because essentially we need to be ready for the government to fall this year, where we'd previously said that we thought the government could fall from sort of the second half of 2027 onwards.
So you think it's sooner than that now?
Potentially it's sooner.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's probable, but we've got to be ready. And so yesterday was about setting out the fact that we will be ready. We've opened the list of applications for parliamentary candidates, and that so that's open, and that's a key statement.
Well, whatever you do, don't use the same vetting process they used in Downing Street for Peter Mandelson. Like, are you a bad guy? No. Okay, you're in. That's basically it.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, and given that this Prime Minister was, he was the Director of Public Prosecutions, known for his forensic questioning.
Oh, yes.
They
don't say that much anymore, do they?
No, they don't. He seems to have gone a bit quiet on that. But so look, we're going to have to. We're going to be getting ready.
And what does this mean for the by-election coming up in Gorton? Because obviously that's quite a key moment, isn't it?
So it's 2 weeks on Thursday.
Yeah.
And look, everybody's working incredibly hard. It will be very close, and fingers crossed we can just get across the line. But let's remember, this is about the 6th safest Labour seat in the country.
Yes.
It's been held by Labour for, give or take, 100 plus years. So the idea that they might lose it, and they might lose it to us, Reform, is obviously an indication of what on earth's going on. So, and again, in terms of moments for the Prime Minister, that could be another defining moment.
Yes, absolutely.
If we win that, then does that sort of tip them over the edge? Or do they say,
do you think he's going to still be in charge by then?
If he's still in charge, or whether they use that as a sort of defining moment for all of these Labour MPs listening to their furious constituents, saying, well, actually, he's got to go, but maybe as we do a sort of a leadership contest, he could be a caretaker PM until the May elections. And then he owns the disaster that they're facing.
And do you guys have a favourite sort of substitute in terms of who would you love to see as the Prime Minister? I mean, we all think Angela Rayner here because it'd be such a good laugh. But I mean, we don't really want to ruin the country that quickly.
Well, I think the PM's doing a pretty good job for Reform as it is. So there's an argument to say maybe you should just drift along.
Carry on.
We haven't got a favourite. Look, we're not afraid of anybody. Economically, they have no idea what they're doing. Not a clue. Sadly for the economy and for jobs, and particular for young people. There is an absolute desert of jobs out there, and they think they've done the right thing by tightening the employment laws and by lifting the minimum wage for young people. All they've done is regrettably, businesses are looking at the risk picture and saying it doesn't pay to take someone on as an apprentice or as a younger worker in my team, in my business, in my pub, in my restaurant, and that's a disaster, absolute catastrophe. So then what happens? Those young people, they look at the landscape and say, well, I can't get a job. That's giving me mild anxiety, so I better go on the sick. You go on the sick, you're on welfare, you get a label, you get written off, and I mean, all of those numbers are utterly, utterly disastrous. They're disastrous for those young people, they're disastrous for their families, for their communities and catastrophic for the
just
economy.
on the economy generally. I mean, there's a piece in the papers today saying 1 in 8 pubs now is on the brink, basically, of shutting down. I was, it may not come as any great surprise to you, in a hostelry yesterday afternoon.
Really?
Yeah. And there were more people working there than there were customers, And I was sitting there with a friend of mine, a guy that you know as well, Mark Littlewood, formerly of the IEA, having a couple of glasses of wine. And there was maybe 2 other tables occupied, so there was like 6 people, but there were about 10 people working both in the kitchen, behind the bar, and you just think, these poor people, how on earth can they make a living? They can't make a living.
It's desperate, and it's a difficult time of the year anyway, January and February in the sort of hospitality sector. But it is, all of this is dire, and when we see the borrowing figures out, I think a week on Friday, it's the next round of borrowing figures, I think those will be dire. The job figures.
And they haven't borrowed less than about 20 billion a month, have they, since they've been in?
Well, across the piece, I mean, the annualised figure is now running at 150 billion a year.
Wow.
It's very hard to know what that number is, I'll tell you. Per household, whether you own or rent your home, that's £5,500 per household per year. We borrowed that in the year to 2025, and we're going to borrow the same this financial year to March 26, and the same next year. Way more than the Office for Incompetent Forecasting, I'm so sorry, the Office for Budget Responsibility, than they forecast at their budget just a couple of months ago. I mean, these people, and of course, when you get that incompetent forecasting, it sort of leads the government to complacency about what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm hearing the news being read out, by the way, Pooch.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know whether that's deliberate. We've got this going on, by the way. We've got a poll today. What would you rather watch? Because the Winter Olympics are on. One of the worst things I've ever seen on the BBC. It says, what would you rather watch? Skeet shooting, curling, ice dancing, or Keir Starmer? It comes in at curling at the moment, is what everybody wants to watch.
Crikey, that is a sign of a nation that is, and an economy that is stagnant.
It really is.
Curling is, I know it's
possibly the worst sport ever.
Well, it's a great skill, but I'm not sure that it's a dynamic watch. I mean, I personally like to watch the bobskeleton because in my youth I used to do a lot of that.
Did you?
Yes.
What, bobsleigh?
I used to be the 3rd fastest Brit, head first on a toboggan down what's called the
That's
Creston
amazing.
Run. So
Well,
I did it over 500 times.
Well, Kelvin Mackenzie, who's going to be on just after you in a moment, used to make us all laugh years and years ago when I used to work for the Daily Express, which he used to describe as being the only newspaper that was on a luge, heading fast downhill, trying to get to 0 in terms of its circulation. It is. You want to strap yourself in.
Yeah. So
can we just have a quick look, by the way, just while we're on? Keir Starmer. This is Keir Starmer last week at Prime Minister's Questions, asked if he still had full confidence in Morgan McSweeney.
I heard the Health Secretary say this morning was that he wants to cut waiting lists, but we all know that there's only one waiting list that he really wants to cut. But the Prime Minister is not going to do anything about the toxic culture. This is his responsibility. Just last night, his allies accused not just the Health Secretary, but the Home Secretary and even the Energy Secretary of launching leadership bids. These attacks came from Number 10, nowhere else, his toxic Number 10. The person responsible for the culture in Number 10 is his Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney. Does the Prime Minister have full confidence in him?
Morgan McSweeney, my team and I are absolutely focused on delivering for the country. And let me be clear, of course, Mr Speaker, I've never authorised attacks on Cabinet members. I appointed them to their posts because they're the best people to carry out their jobs.
I mean, that really is the kiss of death, isn't it? Getting the vote of confidence from the Prime Minister. I mean, I'm hoping he never says that about me, otherwise I'm toast.
Well, I mean, this is it. It normally lasts about 24 hours.
Absolutely.
As you said that.
The list is a long one.
Let me ask you about, there's a breaking story this morning about Bangor University.
Oh, yes.
Who have apparently banned reform. I think Layla Cunningham was going to go and have a speech to some of the students there. And there Reform UK not welcome at Bangor University, apparently, according to the debating society there.
Well, I think maybe taxpayers don't want to make it very welcome to give taxpayers money to fund any research at Bangor University. Maybe the government should say to them that unless you comply with the free speech laws and promote sort of free speech, then there'll be no taxpayer funding and maybe no student loans for all the students that go there. And see how long it takes for the phone to ring. I suspect it might ring very, very quickly indeed.
I know.
So I put that message out on socials this morning. I mean, who on earth do they think they are? The whole point of university is to promote debate, to promote discourse, to promote all sorts of incredible, extraordinary, good, bad, mad thinking in all walks of life. That's how you create things.
I know. It is extraordinary, isn't it, that they just don't want anyone to disagree with them. I mean, we had a story, I think, last week, Gen Z, whatever you want to call themselves, that most of them haven't got any friends who disagree with them.
I mean, what an outrage. What a bunch of snowflakes.
I know.
What a bunch
ridiculous.
of... I mean, it's just pathetic.
I've got one final question for you. It's a piece of the Times today, and I'm going to ask everybody we get on today this question. How long should you wait to text somebody after a first date? I know that you're not necessarily in the dating.
I'm not in the dating market. It's very important
these
to
days.
say that.
Even though
I am in the ring market. I'm getting a lot of flack for not buying a ring yet. But anyway,
a study suggests playing it cool can get you frozen out. So you should message them the next morning. What if you're still with them? I mean, you know.
Well, okay.
Do you mind if I send you a text message while you're lying next to me?
Yeah, it's clearly a very... the fact that it's on page 3 of the Times shows what an important topic this is. And we need to poll. Maybe you could put a poll out.
We could put a poll out.
With 3 or 4 different time frames.
Yes.
Is it half an hour?
Yeah.
Is it a couple of hours? Is it a day or is it never?
Depending on how it went.
We put a poll out anyway.
Thank you. Kelvin Mackenzie, you'll be hearing from him very shortly. Richard Tice, great to
Lovely
see you.
to see you.
Thank you very much indeed. By this time tomorrow, we could have a new Prime Minister.
Anything could happen.
It's really
let's look forward to it.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? This is, of course, the home of common sense. Do get in touch. We've got loads and loads of you messaging already. Wes Street is disgusting, says Will, so boot him out as well. Jan says, how much of this university intolerance is due to open entrance and low standards in university? Reform may not be 100% ready yet, but compared to this Labour mob, I'd still prefer them, says Alan. So, you know.
Thank you, Alan.
Prepare yourself for government.
Prepare for government.
What was it? It was the Lib Dems, wasn't it? Go home and to your constituencies and prepare for government.
How did that work out?
Don't ever say that. No. Anyway, listen, we've got loads going on today. We've got fantastic guests coming up. We've got your views, of course, as well. We are right here at the Mike Graham Show, the real home of common sense, except no substitutes. Have a look at this, right? But if you're worried that this lot who are currently in power are bad, wait until you see what Zach Polanski would do. Check this out.
Oh, sorry, Mike. No, it's gone.
No? You haven't got it?
Oh, no, sorry.
OK. Pooch was going to play Zach Polanski, but he's not now. What should we do instead? What do you reckon?
It sort of slightly typifies Zach Polanski completely, actually.
Yeah.
In that, I mean, there was
kiboshed his own clip.
Well, yes, but there was a clip of him with the Lib Dems talking about all sorts of mad ideas about a decade ago.
Yeah. Well, that's the one we wanted to play.
And, I mean, no one laughing.
No.
It's bizarre, actually. He looks older then, a decade ago, than he looks now, which is quite interesting.
It is,
Maybe he's hypnotised himself.
He could have done.
And made himself look different.
Yeah. I mean, there are people who think the Greens are going to win up in Gorton because they are kind of the party of protest now because, you know, in a way you're...
Well, they're the party, regrettably, they're the party of sectarian politics.
Yeah.
And they will gain a significant vote because of the sectarian politics which is being played out in certain constituencies. And, of course, going back to Wes Streeting, that's why he's actually terrified of his own seat.
Yeah.
I mean, his majority was only just over 500, I think. And that's because of the pro-Gaza sectarian vote, which is now becoming a real thing in British politics.
Yeah, absolutely right. It is shocking, absolutely shocking. What are we doing?